Welcome back to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate. You look up and down your street, I've probably sold one of those homes, helped somebody buy it, or helped somebody manage it as investment property. I want to talk about investment property in a little bit, but Bruce, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, Bruce, adjustable rates. Are they here yet?
Well, they're here. I'm not really pushing adjustable rates just yet, okay? When we start hitting 7.5%, I'll be pushing more adjustable rates. Look, I know a lot of folks out there seem to have forgotten what happened back the last time adjustable rates got into flavor. The fact of the matter is, whether you get an adjustable rate or a fixed rate, even though that adjustable rate may be a little bit lower than the fixed rate, I don't find that they're low enough. Now, you may say, why aren't they low enough? Well, if an adjustable rate isn't at least 1% lower than the prevailing fixed rate, then don't do it.
It's not worth the risk.
It's not worth the risk, and they're not there right now. The reason they're not there is there's no pooling of them in this secondary market. So in other words, if there's not enough companies buying them as mortgage-backed securities, then the
rates aren't good enough.
The rates aren't good enough. So I don't do it until I start to see that there's more of a flavor.
And when we say adjustable rates, we're talking like a 5-1 that's locked for, like, you're going to be moving in 5 years.
Yeah, but you know what? Yes, a 5-1 would be fixed for 5 years,
7-1,
then it adjusts every year after that.
Yep.
Right? But I'm looking at them. I'm watching them every day. I'm just not really doing anything with them at this point because there's no flavor for me. I don't like interest rates going up any more than anybody else does. But for every $300,000 that an interest rate goes up by 1%, costs you about $190.
Yeah.
Okay? $190 more a month. I would rather take the $190 risk than them adjusting and going up instead of down at the end of 5 years.
Well, all those sucker option arms that were back in 04, 05, and 6, they don't exist, but like they started in the 4s and 5s, and they were awesome. I
actually like
the
option arms.
They went to 8 or 9%. Yeah, I've actually got 2 option arms on 2 of my rental properties.
I'm going to tell you something. They made them illegal because what was happening is people
the predatory lending. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't necessarily the predatory lending. What it was is that they knocked out the hybrid arm when they knocked out the predatory lending. So they felt that this was predatory lending, but what happened was people didn't know how to use the interest-only option. So they would pay less than interest-only, and they'd wonder why their balance went negative and started going up instead of down.
And that's not possible anymore.
You can't do neg-am arms anymore, even though they still exist on my
old
tests.
option arm. In fact, it's literally 18. Where's it at? It's 18 years old on one of my rentals. It started out, I had that option. I had the 15-year payment, the interest-only payment, and the 30-year payment. And what's funny now is like that disappeared about 10 years ago. That disappeared off the statement. I just have a set 30-year payment.
Right.
So.
So you don't even have an interest.
The option went away, and I guess it's been sold because that was an old American Home Mortgage.
Right.
It was an old product from a bank that's gone now.
Right.
So anyway,
most of those banks went. Yep. So listen, we got a lot of things to cover today. First of all, did you have some more news you want to cover before I get into some events that I'm doing?
Talk about your events. I do want to talk about what's going on in new construction after that.
Okay, so right now I'm starting to see a little bit more ease up on the market when it comes to the first-time home buyer. Okay, you guys have been priced out of the market. Your interest rates are going up like crazy, but housing prices continue to go up. Heck, they went up from March to April about $24,000 in Central Florida alone. That's a $300 a month increase in your payment. But if the interest rate goes up 1%, it's about $200 a month, $190 a month. The problem is when the house goes up $50,000 and the interest rate goes up 1%, then you're $510 a month more for the exact same home. Now, you want to talk rent control? Here's rent control. It's called a 30-year fixed rate mortgage.
Exactly.
Buy a home, you have rent control. That, when I hear people screaming and yelling about rent control, that's like telling your investment banker, hey, I don't want you to pay me over 5% interest on my money. I want you to keep it at 5. I don't want the 20% interest that you were going to pay me. Don't do that. You are allowed to make as much money as you can based on the investments that you make. That's the way the free market works. But you have to be in the game to play the game. And the game is own real estate and you'll make money. Now, I'm going to be doing an event that's going to be featuring Hometown Heroes, which is a new state of Florida down payment assistance program that's available for 81 different occupations, like police, firemen, teachers, educators of any sort. I mean, it runs the gamut. You can get up to $25,000 in income, and it's more flexible guidelines than some of the down payment assistance programs. Now, it's a non-forgivable silent second mortgage. So it does exist, and you will have to pay it back. So there is some pros and some cons to it, but mostly pros. If you want to know about that, I have limited seats available, but I will be doing a live seminar on July the 20th from 6 to 7:30 at Miller's Ale House in Winter Park. $20 a head to get in. Go to WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com and register right away. This will fill up within a week, I can guarantee you. And then I'll have to push it out to probably August to the next one. And then if you are interested in my construction perm program, whether you are a real estate agent, you're a builder, or you want to buy land and build on it, or you own land and want to build on it, I'm going to show you how construction perm lending works and how to take advantage of it and build your own home on your own lot the way you want it. So if you want to learn about that class I'm going to be doing, it'll be a lunch event, and it's going to be at, and that doesn't mean I'm serving you lunch. There will be food and drinks available, but you will be able to attend that one from 11:30 to 1 at Outback Steakhouse in Claremont. Realtors, it's a must. You got to go. Builders, if you're building 5 to 50 homes, you should go to this class. If you want to build, you should go to this class. And that will be $20 a head to get in on that. Register at WeBringYouHome.com, and I'll get you into those classes. A lot of stuff to learn, a lot of ways to make money.
And Bruce, I want to talk about new construction. Right now, what's funny is, you hear some negative headlines about people having to drop their prices around the country, and 20% of all sellers dropped their prices last month. That's astronomical compared to 2 years ago. Doesn't mean anything. The builders have no homes. The builders have waiting lists, and they're 6 to 12 months. They used to say when they were building a home, be 4 to 5 months.
Right.
4 to 6
4
months.
to 6 months.
And now they're 6 to 12 because they don't know about supply issues.
Correct.
But they've gotten it under control where they build them as they can, and when they get to a certain point, they pretty much know, all right, we're within 4 months of being done. Let's sell this now. So
that's correct.
They kind of sell the homes
later.
Well,
they can manage their
price.
They
incubate
too.
them a little longer, and they can manage their prices.
Well, they
better.
have to, because previously you wouldn't start building. You wouldn't put the house on. You would put the house on the market before you ever broke ground, and you would sell it for that price.
Yep.
But what was happening is the builders' prices were changing before they even broke ground.
Yeah.
So now they wait till they got windows in at least.
And they're about halfway through, yeah.
Then even about 2/3 of the way through. Then they'll price the house.
But with them having oodles of people waiting on new homes, and just about anywhere you drive in Orlando, you see new construction, you'll see something cleared. I saw a parcel, didn't even recognize it, especially like these infill projects. You're inside the metro area, and all of a sudden you see 5 acres that somebody had, and it's being cleared, and there's a road going in.
I love infill projects.
Yeah, for 25 homes. And those homes are going to start in the 6s and 7s.
Yep. Well, and that's why I'm telling everybody to buy, man. You can buy, if you buy a house for $350, $400 right now, you're going to get $600 for it by 2026.
Speaking of new construction, I got one of the hottest neighborhoods coming up in Oakland, edge of Winter Garden, on Lake Apopka, starting in the 6s. There'll be lakefront homes, I'm sure, up over $1 million on that. If you want to get in on this, give me a call at 407-352-8118.
Yep, and if you'd like financing on those, you call me at 407-35. I'm going to give out your number, 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144 for the Lone Ranger CrossCountry Mortgage. 33 years in the business, helping over 10,000 people.
And Bruce, one thing I mentioned earlier about one of the big companies that says, "Oh, we'll sell your home for no money." Another one going out of business, failed miserably. They were on the radio. You'd recognize the name. You'd recognize it. I don't want to bother. It's not even worth giving them the airtime. But it's funny. They think they can analyze home buying with AI, and they have all these algorithms about what happens. But what do you do when the wife is crying because she's 6 months pregnant, got hormones flying, The house is a mess because they're packed up and ready to move. The new home, all of a sudden we hear didn't appraise, or there's an inspection issue, and you've got a hysterical seller on one line, somebody saying cancel the deal, cancel the deal. There's no algorithm for that.
No, there isn't.
That's where a good realtor, experienced negotiator is going to step in, and that's why it works. It's why I've got a job, and it's why you can't just buy. Actually, there probably is a book, Real Estate for Dummies, but you can buy that book, but it's not going to get you the experience that somebody like you or me has in getting things done and talking people through the ups and downs of a transaction.
Well, you know what? I think that really does hit it in a nutshell, Cleve. You and I have a very hands-on approach to our business. And I think that people think that, buying you see these Carvana things where you can buy a car and we can eliminate the car dealership.
They're going broke.
Are
Carvana,
they?
Yeah.
Are they going
Carvana's going out. Well, there's 50 online car wholesalers. So
right.
if your
I didn't know that. Okay.
If your business practices aren't right, you're not going to make it.
But my point is that buying a home is a far more an emotional attachment if you're buying a primary residence.
Getting married or having a baby.
And there's a lot of moving parts to it. I
Yep.
mean, and listen, you're trying to qualify for a mortgage. Mortgages have prudent underwriting, so everything's got to be documented. And I'm going to tell you something. You need somebody that cares enough to walk you through the process. I just got off the phone with a client just before you walked into the studio. She was pre-approved by Bank of something. It's called a country. Mm-hmm. I think it's the one we live in. Okay.
Yep.
And fully pre-approved, made an offer accepted. Okay. Now the closing is in 2 weeks. They just sent her. She says, the guy calls me up and goes, "Hey, yeah, it's Billy Bob. And by the way, your loan's denied now. I'm sorry, we can't do it. See you later. Bye." And I'm like, "Well, what did he tell you? What did he?" She goes, something about my pay stub. I don't know. And so I pulled up the file. I had her apply. I went through it. I'm like, "Well, you got a couple issues. Your debt ratios are a little high." Uh-huh. Okay. And the pay stub issues, she works for a mom and pop business and they don't do traditional pay stubs. You can navigate through that.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to do that.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So they denied her. And she's like hysterical.
But our number one basic need is shelter.
Right.
And they panicked her thinking she's going to have no shelter, and then just hung up and said goodbye.
Look, if there's bad news that I have to pass on to a client because something happened, I'm going to do it head on.
Well, that's what you and I do with bad news on a credit report, bad news on an appraisal, bad news on an inspection report. All these things, you and I, it's not bad news.
It's information.
It's a problem we need to solve.
It's a problem that we can solve. And you know what? Most of the time you can solve these problems. They really are. You just have to stop and step back and think it through. But that's what takes experience. And I've got people that work on my team and that come to me and they're like, "I got my mortgage license. I want to be a mortgage loan officer." I'm like, "Well, that's going to take me 3 years to train you to be a good one." Now, they're like, "That's impossible. I should be able to do it in 3 months." I will tell you right now, if the loan officer that you're talking to doesn't have 3 to 5 years experience, they don't know what they're doing. That is a fact. It takes a long time to really navigate this business. So hire a professional like me.
You and I speaking to those people and speaking to agents that are inexperienced, when I get an offer, now it's my job. I will help agents all day long when they send me an offer, and I can ask them a couple pointed questions about, "Hey, is this your loan rep? Have you talked to them about getting this closed?" I mean, they're asking for 8 weeks on a closing. I don't do that. We need to close in 4 or 5. Have they put all their documents in? And I get silence on the phone, or I hear heavy breathing. I'm like, "Let me help you with this." And it's my job, because even though I'm working for my sellers, when I have 20 offers come in,
we want the whole thing to come together.
I talk to each of those agents. I'll tell them what they need to do to improve their offer. Of the ones that answer their phone or call me back, I'll get calls weeks later of somebody in tears.
That's what you get when you hire Cleve, the professional. He can be reached at 407-352-8118.
How much time we got, Bruce?
We got about a minute. We got 407-352-8118. If you'd like to talk to the loan arranger, you can reach him, Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. Don't call any CrossCountry. Call the loan arranger, 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. What you got? You got about
I got one thing about marketing renovated properties. What I do, I've got a 50-point checklist. You want to know what to do to your property. I'm spending about 1 to 2% of the price to get ready. And that's if you've taken good care of it. If it needs a bunch of work, we might go a little higher. But I hate when I see people, I come in and go, "Oh, somebody told me I need to do all new travertine floors." No, you don't need to do that in this market. Call me for my 50-point free staging checklist or go to lovelandreport.com. Phone number is 407-352-8118.
Yep, or the loan arranger, CrossCountry Mortgage, 407 250-9144. We'll be right back.